Welcome everyone to Pikeville Medical Center. My name is Eric Blackburn, and I want to thank each of you for being here today and participating in today's important announcement, and for also showing your support for PMC and our workforce development activities. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the members of our panel who will be speaking, and to our members of our board of directors who were able to attend today. At PMC, we're proud to offer our medical services in a Christian environment. So we open all of our meetings, all of our events with prayer, today being no different. So at this time, I'll ask our Director of Chaplain Services, Randy Johnson, to come and lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Eric. Won't you bow as we pray? Oh God, your word says to us that it is something to seek, and that is wisdom and learning, and not for the purpose of anything more than to serve. In fact, we learn in order that we might be better at offering healing and comfort and compassion. So bless this day and set our hearts and minds on learning that we might better serve. Amen.
Thank you, Randy. Seated on the stage here today, we have a distinguished panel of guests that have all been supportive of Pikeville Medical Center, not only in our mission to provide quality health care, but also to provide good jobs in our community and substantially contribute to our local economy. Our first speaker is not a stranger to this podium. He's a native of Pikeville, an accomplished local attorney with strong family ties to the medical community. He's also a friend to PMC and represents our community in the state Senate. So it's my pleasure to welcome Senator Philip Wheeler.
It's such an honor to be here today. You know, it seems like that I'm here so often because so many good things are going on at Pikeville Medical Center. You know, it was just 3 weeks ago that we were here to announce the new pedestrian thoroughfare that's going to be able to make sure that PMC employees can safely transverse from the parking area to the hospital. We opened our Prestonsburg Clinic approximately 5 weeks ago. I mean, this institution is bringing so many good things to this area, and the announcement today is no different. You know, Pikeville Medical Center, I think, has not only been about providing service, it's also been about providing a place to learn. And this announcement today just represents the next step. That not only is Pikeville Medical Center a place where we can heal, it's also a place where we can learn the skills to move on and do better in our lifetimes and for our families. You know, we have great leadership here currently at the hospital. I think that, you know, you can see that in all the new announcements. You can see that by the enthusiasm in the community that's apparent at every single announcement that we have here. So I'm honored to be here with you today, to be with Secretary Ramsey, somebody whom we all admire for both his athletic feats as well as his feats in education. I can think of no better representative to have here for this announcement today. I am so pleased to share this stage with so many distinguished people, and I look forward to continuing my work in the legislature to improve this community and to make sure that the hospital, as well as the other economic drivers of Eastern Kentucky, get the kind of support they need out of Frankfort so that our community and that Eastern Kentucky can succeed. So thank you very much.
So our next speaker is originally from Salyursville, Kentucky. He's had a long and decorated history with the Kentucky State Police, includes drug enforcement, special investigations, and serving as chaplain. He represents District 92 in the Kentucky House of Representatives, and we appreciate his support. So please welcome Representative John Blanton.
Thank you, Eric. Donovan, for allowing me to be here once again. As Senator Wheeler said just a few weeks ago, we stood here with another announcement. Here we are again today. Pikeville Medical Center continues to move forward and is a leader not only in healthcare, but a leader in providing opportunities and jobs for the region of Eastern Kentucky. Today is just another indication, partnering with Secretary Ramsey, Jeff Whitehead, to bring opportunities for others that may not have had the chance. And they just need that chance to get that footing set. And we've seen this back in, even in my agency. Oftentimes, things happen when we're young, we're teenagers, that maybe prevent us from finishing school or getting the proper education we need. We just need that opportunity to move forward. Doesn't mean they're not bright, doesn't mean they're not skilled. And that's going to provide, this is going to provide that opportunity for those that maybe had that difficult time in their life and they're ready to move forward, but they need that opportunity. And this partnership will provide that. It will provide them an opportunity to get their GEDs and begin to move forward with their lives and to begin to allow them to prosper. Look, people talk a lot about, lately you've heard across the state, how do we increase revenues? How do we increase revenues? Well, folks, we don't increase revenues by raising taxes on the individuals. That stifles our economy. We raise revenues by creating opportunities, allowing people to go to work, providing people who are not taxpayers an opportunity to be taxpayers, or if they were, provide them better paying jobs to where they have better opportunities in life. And that's exactly what is going to take place with this partnership with that you're going to hear about here today. And so this is good not only for the people that live here locally, not only is it going to provide great employees for Pikeville Medical Center, but it's going to provide an increase for us in revenue for the state of Kentucky and the city of Pikeville and Pike County. So this is a win-win situation for everybody. I've often said, for those of us in Eastern Kentucky, we have a strong and greater workforce here in Eastern Kentucky as anywhere in the world. So many times, those of us that are native Eastern Kentuckians, we've had people that want to come in and they want to solve our problems, and they want to do that by throwing a little money at us here and there. We don't need a handout, folks, in Eastern Kentucky. We simply need a hand up. And this is a hand up for people in Eastern Kentucky to be able to get started or to improve their lives. Gives them a chance to fulfill their dreams that they have in life and their goals they have in life, and to be the person of integrity, the person of hard work and dedication and loyalty that we know that the people of mountains, the mountain people have instilled in them. So it's my great honor to be here today on such a momentous occasion for this region and for the Pikeville Medical Center. Thank you.
I now have the opportunity to introduce the leader of our organization. In his relatively short time at the helm of PMC, he's transformed the culture of our company. He's continued to expand our services and technology in many areas and in multiple communities, while overseeing a multi-million-dollar turnaround in our finances. After spending years with the city of Pikeville as city manager, he understands the vital economic role that PMC plays in the community. And as leader of PMC, he understands the responsibility that goes along with that. So he's committed to the continued expansion of important medical services and the continued development of our workforce, which makes that possible. So please welcome Pikeville Medical Center CEO and Vice President of the Board of Directors, Donovan Blackburn.
Well, welcome everyone. You know, I've got some prepared notes here because I want to make sure that I have the opportunity of giving great credence to what we're getting ready to talk about here and to recognize some folks that are making these programs happen. But as I was sitting there, I told this story recently on Workplace to a degree, but I want to share it with you again. So as we talk about today's announcement and what this represents and what it means to me personally, and probably each one of you that are sitting out there today has a similar type story. But I grew up, my dad was born at Pikeville Medical Center, as was many of his siblings. And I was born actually in Chicago. And my dad moved to Chicago because he was one of 13 brothers and sisters who grew up on Peach Orchard. And Dad left the area right before I was born for work, to look for opportunity and to raise a family. And at an early age, when I was in fourth grade, we moved back to Pikeville because we were here more often than we were in Chicago. But the rest of the story is that my dad, because of the circumstances of having, again, 13 siblings, his mother passed away when he was 9 years old. And a family that size, as you can imagine, most of the kids actually had to go to work and help the family. So my dad, he left high school with a ninth grade education and struggled. But he was able to come back, find employment. He went to work for Wayne's Supply as a diesel mechanic, and then later became the shop foreman and then the service manager. So he was able to raise a family on a good wage, but during that time, he was given the opportunity to go back and to pursue his GED. So my dad is one of many that are in this market and in this great state that have had circumstances that interfere with their education and at times their opportunity. So Pikeville Medical Center, being not only a great organization, but one of great Christian values, we need to play our play and do our duty to the community. And as you hear this program today, I feel very honored that people like my father are going to be given an opportunity for advancement and placement. I am also very appreciative of our board of directors. Ron Burchett is here, our president of our board, and Ron and John have been instrumental over the years in making smart investments to allow us to be where we are today. And I mentioned Ron and John, and we've got a new board member, actually, Philip, that was just announced. I'm not sure if I missed anybody else that may be in the crowd, but I want to give recognition to them and to thank them for their leadership and for allowing policies like this of what we're here to announce today to take place, because it is somewhat transformational for many different reasons. So as I share that with you, let me make my remarks now officially. We are very excited, and I'm personally excited, Secretary, to welcome Secretary Derek Ramsey back to visit with us here at PMC. We have an exciting announcement today regarding PMC's Employment Outreach Network. The network has brought Pikeville Medical Center and Kentucky Skills U together to play a critical role in adult attainment of secondary school diploma and other skills while being employed here at Pikeville Medical Center. We are also focusing on many other programs with our state and our local partners like K-Tech, nursing apprenticeship, externship, and residency programs. I am honored of attending a fairly lengthy meeting this morning with Irvin, who works with the Secretary Ramsey's office, along with many other partners in our community. Partners such as EKSEP. Jeff Whitehead is here today, and Jeff, we appreciate you and all that you're doing for our region. I also want to give special thanks to Dr. Sherry Zilka, who's right here in front of me, who's been a great partner and a great advocate for this community as a leader with Big Sandy Technical and Community College. We have also several local sponsors with our school systems, such as Reed Atkins and Joe Ray Thornsberry, who is in the audience again today. And Joe has been somebody, Ray has been somebody that's been at every event that we've had because he supports his community and certainly supports education and youth of this region. So Joe Ray, again, thank you. But we are planning an amazing apprenticeship program through the name of K-Tech. This wonderful program will create a partnership that will provide over 100 local high school students the opportunity to earn dual credit, all while paving a career path in healthcare. This program is not only needed, but is again transformational in so many ways for the people of our area. Though our network of partners will be bringing opportunity for future job growth for the people of our region and Pikeville Medical Center. What makes today's Employment Outreach Network announcement exciting is the simple fact that the program is already working. We have hired new employees who have enrolled in the Kentucky Skills U program, and they are taking classes at Big Sandy Technical College currently. As they test throughout the program, there is no additional cost to the employee because Pikeville Medical Center, with the approval of our great board, has agreed to pay for these tests. Staff will automatically receive a raise upon completion and upon receipt of their GED. They can also look for advancement opportunities throughout the organization. If they want to further their education and seek additional opportunities, they could possibly advance into other areas such as phlebotomy, a nursing assistant, a clinic clerk, coders, pharmacy techs. Many of these positions do require certifications, but through the opportunity that we are now presenting, it is now going to be offered through them grasping and obtaining their GED. Pikeville Medical Center has worked with our network partners, Eastern Kentucky Concentrated Employment Program, Kentucky Skills U, and Big Sandy Community and Technical College. This unique partnership is allowing us to work together to host job fairs, which we recently had one on September 24th and then one on October 28th at 2 different sites and locations, netting results of new hires for PMC. This program will provide interviews, provide employment for those who are selected for the positions while taking adult education classes. It will provide GED educational classes and support, provide vouchers for GED testing, create a pipeline for job applicants for Pikeville Medical Center. There's a lot more that this program will offer that I certainly have gone through, but certainly want the secretary to have the opportunity to discuss more in detail. With the leadership like those who are sitting on the stage today, those of all ages and all classes throughout our region will have better opportunities. Opportunities to advance. It's because of the champions that are behind me that believe in what their best interests are. I especially want to thank my good friend, Senator Philip Wheeler, and my good friend, Representative John Blanton, who are not only here today to celebrate today's announcement and to participate, but who have always been there in the time that I've held this seat in a way to support not Pikeville Medical Center and not healthcare, but opportunity for all in the region. So again, Philip and John, I cannot thank you enough and greatly appreciate your support for the people of our region. Thank you. Now, our next speaker, I get the opportunity of introducing and inviting to the podium. Most of us, and he's going to probably deny this because we had this discussion a moment ago, something about age, but most of us already know his accomplishments on the field. He is a huge sports figure in many different ways and a champion within his own right. But where I saw him as a champion was the first opportunity that I had to meet him. So I don't want to talk to you a little bit about his background. Everybody probably already knows that. What I want to talk to you about is what he represents and how he represents it. And that's the people of our area. I had the opportunity of traveling, as I have done so many times, to Frankfort to talk to the governor and the cabinet about opportunity and jobs and what Pikeville Medical Center needs. And as the governor set these meetings up, I sat in a room, was invited down with several staff members, and I saw this, I knew the name, but I saw this huge figure walk into the room with a great presence, who sat down and really absorbed the air. And what I mean by that is not through his words, but through his wisdom and through his passion. I saw somebody that really wanted to make a difference in not just Pikeville or Pikeville Medical Center, but throughout the state of Kentucky. And he has done that in his role as secretary. Education is better because of this gentleman. The workforce is better because of this gentleman. And candidly, our community, because of today's announcements and the announcements that I mentioned earlier, is better because of Secretary Ramsey. It's my pleasure to have had the opportunity to work with him over the past few months, and I look forward to the seeds that he has chose to plant over the past few weeks and months with Pikeville Medical Center and throughout our region with these new programs and what will happen over the years to come. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you my dear friend, Secretary Derek Ramsey.
Good afternoon, everyone. One more time. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. Donovan, thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you. The reason it's easy for me to do what I do and say what I say is because of my life experiences. And the interesting part of this whole adult education, Kentucky Skills U. My mother got her GED some 5 years after I graduated from the University of Kentucky, 1983. And the interesting part about when you think about people that do not have their high school equivalent, high school diploma, it's not because they're not smart. There's always some underlying story, some reason why. In my mother's case, my mother got pregnant at 15. Her and my father were married at 16 and 18. And my blessing is that for the next 56 years, I had two incredible parents that not only put myself through college, but four of the siblings as well. So I understand that there are different reasons, but the point that I want to make and the things that we're trying to do is for those folk that are out there, we want them to know there's help. We want them to know that there are people that care about them, that care about their families. We want them to know that we are a second chance state, and in some cases, a third chance state. And so that's why these type programs are so invaluable to me. In addition to Skills U, we have a collaboration between our cabinet and KCTC, and it's called Skills Plus, right? And what that means is after a person has a high school diploma, they can then go on to get an associate's degree in the 5 high demand areas that will be paid for by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Putting our money where our mouth is, but more importantly, putting monies to help people. Just last year, to further this, and I think in this group here, you can appreciate this even more. Last year, I was on the stage with a gentleman from the University of Kentucky, and he was getting an honorary degree from the University of Kentucky. And this gentleman dropped out of high school in 10th grade. And he was working as a mechanic. And this biology professor at the University of Kentucky struck up a conversation with this young man while he was working on his car. And he realized this young person was pretty dang intelligent. And so the guy shared with him that he had dropped out of school in 10th grade. And so this professor encouraged him to take the GED. And this young man heeded to his advice, went on to UK and got his bachelor's degree after, then got a master's degree, then went on to get an MD. And the thing that's incredible about this guy, and for people like myself, former athletes, former military guys, there's this thing called CTE. This gentleman is one of the top people in the country for CTE. A person that dropped out. And by all standards, by all thoughts of people, that was a dumb person. Because that is always the perception of a person that do not have an education. And I always beg to differ. And so this doc and I, of course, we're having conversations from time to time simply because playing in the National Football League for 9 years, and I have some friends that have CTE. And I wonder if my number is in that deck. But, you know, even knowing all that crazy game that I played, that started playing at the age of 9, I would do it all over again. The things we love, the opportunities that we have. Now, Donovan, while he laid all these nice things on you guys about me, I got to share about him as well. I met him 2 months ago, and I'm just kind of sitting, listening. You know, the governor invited us, myself and 3 or 4 of the secretaries to come and listen. And so I'm listening to what he has to say, and there's this program that I am so fond of. It's called the apprenticeship program. And when I came on board in 2015, in my interview, one of the things I shared with Governor Bevin was that I believe the apprenticeship model, the apprenticeship notion will change the trajectory of earning here in the Commonwealth for a generation, if not two. I believed it then, and I believe it now. And so a program that Donovan talked about was K-Tech. What K-Tech is for you all, it's 9 to 14. So instead of a person getting their high school diploma after 12 years, while in high school, as a freshman, they start taking preparatory courses for college courses. As a sophomore, they then start some of the dual credit. As a junior, they then start working, also taking on a mentor. And so the hopes is that in 5 years or 6 years or 13 or 13 and a half and certainly 14, these young people will have their high school diploma as well as their associate's degree. Now, when Donovan came in and he was talking to our group, and a big part of my responsibility is the workforce. Today in Kentucky, so tell the young people this, because young people are always saying, well, I gotta leave because there's no opportunities. That is not true. Today in Kentucky, we have 129,000 open jobs today. All right? Fast forward that to 2025, that number could be as high as 300,000. Fast forward it to 2030, that number could be as high as 600,000. So there are jobs here now, and there will be jobs here in the future. And so Donovan said that, well, we're having a problem finding nurses and staff at our hospital. And we came down for some help. I said, okay, I think I have the thing for you. So we started talking about this whole concept about K-Tech. And so Dr. Zilka's here. How K-Tech works is you work with a high school, you work with a community college, as well as industry. And with the apprenticeship, one of the things that I tell folk, and particularly employers, this is not cheap labor. It's not. It's not what it's about. And so most of our apprentices start at $11.25 an hour, and that's across the board, regardless of what the skill set is. And each year it goes up as you become closer to becoming a journeyman or journeywoman. And so I mentioned that to Donovan. He didn't blink. And then we started talking about the K-Tech. And he's kind of smiling, going along with me. And so in the end, I said, okay, Donovan, I think we can do this. I am committed. I will bring the state support with me in this commitment. But what I need from you is a commitment of 100 jobs. He said, deal. He didn't think about it. He didn't question it. He said, deal. And so a relationship was formed. And since that time, we've talked about how we can do things up here to assist. Now, another reason that I am so fond of Pikeville and places like this, because in my hometown, the population is 750 people. I like small. I am most comfortable in small. And so every little community that I come into here in the Commonwealth reminds me of home. Not much going on there, not many opportunities there, not many. And so when I get an opportunity to come back and be a part, just a part, a small part of changing and affecting the lives of Kentuckians, I live for those moments. And I want to be selfish for a moment. I came to the University of Kentucky 45 years ago. I was this little skinny, scrawny guy that tried to play quarterback. And playing quarterback was very tough at that time. In particular, it's tough anytime. Well, that's Terry. It's tough anytime. And so 1975, the University of Kentucky tried to do something different. That being have an African American as quarterback. In the South, that was a challenge. Wasn't accepted by all. But for some reason or another, the people of Kentucky embraced Derek Ramsey. At my time of need, I was 18 years of age when I became a starter. At my time of need, the people of Kentucky was there. They supported me, unwavering. They supported me. I never forgot that. Never forgot that. Because the life that I have been able to live when TV was going off at midnight and they started playing the Star Spangled Banner, for those of you of that vintage, right? Because there was no ESPN and all that stuff back then. None of that stuff. ABC, NBC, and CBS was all there was. And so from where I stand, from where I sit, for where I've been able to experience, for what I've been able to see, do, people that I've met, I could have never imagined. Never imagined that. The football part, yes, had that part. But all the other incredible things, no way, no how, never. But the University of Kentucky prepared me for all of this. And so I will be forever grateful to the University of Kentucky, to the fans of Kentucky, and to the Commonwealth people of Kentucky. You have afforded me something I could never imagine. So for that, I am eternally grateful. And for that also, when I get an opportunity to work with gentlemen like Donovan and others, Dr. Zilka, all the other community colleges presidents, the time of a lifetime for me. These last 4 years have been more than incredible. To be able to give back like I've been able to, and to be able to support. So while this is a day of celebration, the celebration is way much bigger than this, and understand. Because for Kentucky to be competitive in years to come, you have to understand, one, that the world is changing, and it's changing at warp speed. If we're doing the same thing next year that we were doing 5 years ago, 5 years from then, you won't be in business. That's how fast the world is changing. You have to also understand that we're no longer competing against Tennessee, Indiana, Ohio, the surrounding states. It's now international. From Pikeville, Kentucky to downtown Frankfurt, Germany, if there were a flight, you're talking 8, 9 hours. The world's changing. And so for us to be competitive, we have to do collaborations like what we're doing. Like with Pikeville Hospital, like with Skills U, like with the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. We have to all work together to make this thing happen. And understand and think selflessly, when it's all about you, it's not. It's not personal. It's about all of us and all these other wonderful Kentuckians. I want to thank you for being here today. Thank you, Donovan, again, for allowing me to be a partner. And you're going to hear from another guy that works with me who also has a similar story. You know, and the thing that I challenge folk to think of, because also to fill these jobs, and we have 335,000 people that do not have a GED or equivalent. And those jobs I talked about, we're going to require them to get in the game, because at present, 55% of them are unemployed. All those jobs I talked about, it's going to require them. It's going to require people that have been incarcerated for years, for them to get a second chance. For our veterans that keep us safe, for them to get an opportunity. And one of the most joyful things that I experienced while in state government, I got a chance to work on this group called Work Matters Task Force. And what that is working with people that have disabilities, because they too are going to play a critical role. So again, thank you very much for Donovan for having me. Representatives and senators, it's always good to come in your neck of the woods. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Ramsey. We're also honored to have with us today Mr. Jeff Whitehead. Jeff is the Executive Director of the East Kentucky Concentrated Employment Program, often better known as EKCEP. Jeff was appointed to this position in 2007 after an 18-year career with the organization. He also serves on the Advisory Council to SOAR, Shaping Our Appalachian Region, and Chairman of the Education and Retraining Roundtable. Jeff is dedicated to the mission of preparing, advancing, and expanding the workforce of Eastern Kentucky. So welcome, Mr. Jeff Whitehead.
I just want to know, who am I supposed to be mad at for having me follow Derek Ramsey? Just because I have the opportunity to do so. You know, one of the marks of a great leader is somebody who makes everybody around him or her better, right? And Secretary Ramsey, you've done that in the state of Kentucky. And the workforce system and the work that we do and the work that all of us are about is better because of your leadership.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I have a great job because, you know, meaningful work that has benefits with it is good medicine. And that's, I think, an appropriate thing to say in a hospital. Meaningful work is good medicine. And so I get to have the opportunity to work with partners like those on this stage. And I'm so excited about what's going on here in Pikeville. I love working with Donovan Blackburn and his entire team and what's going on here at the hospital because, you know, this isn't that hard. There are jobs available and there are people who need to be prepared to take those jobs. Let's get the list and let's work together in partnership, all of us pulling in the same direction, and check them off. Are we putting people to work and preparing people to work for the jobs and the opportunities that are here? We'll be so much better if we do that effectively. And I think we're well on the way to doing it. There's somebody, I forget who said it. I've been sitting there trying to remember the guy's name and the company that he worked for, but I couldn't. That's what happens when you get some years on you, I guess. But he said this: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, partner. And so we kind of have a far way to go. We've got a lot of work to do. But because of partnerships like this with Skills U and everybody up here in Pikeville Medical, I think we're going to go far. And I think we can get this job done. And I am just honored and appreciative to be a part of the team. And I would say this, one other thing, is my brother-in-law, who is very ill, remembers you coming to Harlan County, Secretary Ramsey, when you were quarterbacking for UK, and he was in high school at that time. You were doing a summer camp. And there was some kind of challenge that nobody could intercept you. And he remembers the ball coming from way up high down to him, and he intercepted you. And it probably stuck in his face mask or something. But he intercepted you.
Stuck in his chest.
Or stuck in his chest. Yeah, and as he ran to you to toss the ball back to you, you threw your towel at him, and he's got that towel hanging on his golf bag still today. So that was a cool thing. Thank you.
Our final speaker today is Reese Stagnolia, who serves as Executive Director of Kentucky Skills U, which is a program of the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. Prior to this position, he was Vice President of Adult Education for the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education for 15 years. Reese is committed to providing statewide leadership for Kentucky's adult education through Skills U, which serves all 120 counties in Kentucky, and is supported by 500 adult educators. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Reese Stagnolia.
What an honor it is to be here today. And like Jeff, I've got to get a new booking agent. Following the secretary is just, but it's been great. Our agency, as he read, transitioned from the Council on Post-Secondary Education to the Education and Workforce Cabinet about this time last year. And, you know, what an honor. I grew up a few years younger than the secretary, watching him play when I was in high school, and admired his athletic prowess. But, you know, what an honor it's been to get to know him as an individual and as a leader, and some of the common bonds that we share. It's been mentioned, some of the other folks, where they're originally from. I'm originally from Harlan County, and what a great opportunity to drive here this morning and just enjoy the beautiful scenery in the fall and the colors and the trees, and sort of that cocoon of a mountain around you. Just feels like I'm back home, and I love coming to Eastern Kentucky. But let me start by saying, you know, at no time has this work that we do in Kentucky Skills U mattered more. You know, some may say that folks who dropped out of high school had their chance, that they should have graduated. You know, do they really deserve a second chance? And I guess I would pose the question, how many of us have had second, third, fourth, fifth chances at a lot of different things in life? So the individuals that we're trying to reach in our programs certainly deserve a second chance. Oftentimes we don't know why, the reason that they dropped out of school. But I'm so thankful that my dad got a second chance. It's interesting, the stories that we share about our families. My father dropped out of school to go to the Navy, and returned, obtained a GED. Then he went on to Cumberland College, and ultimately earned just short of a doctorate degree. Went back home to Harlan County and became the local school superintendent of our county. And I'll tell you that because of how it changed the trajectory of our family, much like my colleagues here. It really made a difference in our family's life. And so owe a debt of gratitude in the fact that we all need second chances. And that's what this effort that we're talking about here today. You know, there's, as the Secretary mentioned, 335,000 adults in the Commonwealth without a high school diploma or GED. Represents about 12.2% of our working age population. 7,500 of those individuals reside in Pike County alone. And so we know that individuals without a high school diploma are 2 times as likely to be unemployed, 3 times as likely to live in poverty, 4 times as likely to have poor health, and 8 times as likely to be incarcerated. So we've made significant progress with Kentucky Skills U over the last, since 2000, our reform legislation, Senate Bill 1 of 2000. We've lowered the population in the Commonwealth by 38%, the 4th best decline in the nation since 2000. But the reality is we're not ready to declare victory or mission accomplished. You see, we still have a ways to go to reach these 335,000 adults in the Commonwealth. You know, I like to think of adult education as an economic catalyst. You know, it makes a big difference for economies. And we do know that the jobs of the future are going to require some post-secondary education and training. It's estimated, you know, I used to say by 2020, you know, that's just a couple months away. 62% of the jobs in the Commonwealth are going to require post-secondary education or training. 80% of the healthcare jobs in the nation are going to require some post-secondary education and training. That's not to say a baccalaureate degree or associate degree, but post-secondary education and training, industry-recognized credentials and skills. So I'm fond of saying a GED is simply not enough to compete in today's economy. We have to train our workforce to be able to compete outside of our county walls, or outside of the Commonwealth. So we know that with skills progression, there's wage progression. And that's why this initiative with Pikeville Medical Center is such a game changer for those individuals without a high school diploma. And it's a game changer for our students and your community. And, you know, Pikeville Medical Center is truly a champion of innovation with this work. You know, our students oftentimes just need access to services. They need for it to be convenient and accessible. You know, they're working 2 jobs or struggling to make ends meet. Single mom, 2 kids, can't come to our programs in the evening. So if we can make it convenient and accessible by being on site or developing these partnerships, because as the Secretary mentioned, there are a lot of job openings. A lot of, you know, if folks want to work today, there are openings. But they can't increase their educational attainment if we don't make it convenient, accessible by going to them at the workplace. So, you know, I've been fond of saying, you know, maybe our sign in our programs needs to say Kentucky Skills U has left the building. We need to figure out strategies of innovation much like this to figure out how we can go and meet those individuals without a high school equivalency where they are in their place of employment and make it convenient and accessible. You know, I've been fond of saying we've got to do that with a sense of urgency. We've got to take our students further faster. They need to be able to get back in the workplace and compete for these jobs that the Secretary talked about. So we have to transform the way we work and do it with that sense of urgency. And I talk about we have to be flexible, nimble, and responsive to employers and our partners, but moreover, the students we are trying to reach and serve. So this is, again, a tremendous opportunity here today to talk about this partnership. You know, I heard someone say one time that today you collaborate or evaporate. And that's so very true with the resources we all have and declining resources in some cases. We've got to figure out ways to break down walls and barriers and silos so that we can work together. So thanks again for the opportunity to be here today and to get to come back to this beautiful part of the state that I so enjoy. And it's been a great opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Again, thanks to everyone for being here. We appreciate each one of you and your contribution to providing world-class healthcare in a Christian environment. Have a great day.